Hey folks, Tim Bunch here with Southern Michigan Gun Club. This video is going to go over the ammunition that we allow at our indoor shooting range in downtown Kalamazoo. Hoping to give a better understanding to our indoor range safety officers as to what to look for, especially if we're dealing with reloads, and also too for our reloaders to understand the parameters to stay within for velocities and cartridges that are allowed there. So that being said, let's get going. Let's start out by taking a look at the requirements that are found in the indoor range standard operating procedures. No shotguns are allowed, no centerfire rifles or black powder. Pistol caliber carbines are allowed with the approval of the RSO and also subject to the same handgun velocity restrictions. Remember that pistol caliber carbines are going to have longer barrels, so typically you're going to have a higher velocity projectile than you would out of a standard handgun with a 3, 4, 5, 6-inch barrel. We can shoot lead, plated, and coated bullets only. No jacketed bullets. The maximum velocity for centerfire handgun ammunition is 1,000 feet per second, and there are no magnum loads to be used. .22 caliber non-magnum rimfire rifles and pistols may be used, but no other rimfire calibers are allowed. On the surface, these rules may seem pretty straightforward, but over time, as different technologies and cartridges are continuing to develop, things can get a little tricky. There will always be exceptions and what-ifs to these rules, but remember that it is the responsibility of the user to know whether his or her ammo is indoor range safe. And if they don't know, they should ask, or shouldn't be shooting it. SMGC has a lot of very knowledgeable members on cartridges and reloading, and we're always happy to share that knowledge with others. So let's start with what a pistol caliber carbine is. Commonly called a PCC, this is a firearm that we'll usually see in an AR platform configuration. So it will basically look like an AR-15, but instead of shooting the common .223 or .556 rifle cartridge, it will shoot what is commonly known as a pistol cartridge, like a 9mm, 40 Smith & Wesson, or 45 ACP. These latter cartridges are allowed at the indoor range as long as they meet all the other requirements. It is called a carbine because it has a shorter barrel than common rifles, usually under 20 inches. It will also have a higher velocity projectile with that longer barrel. Pictured here are 8 different 9mm cartridges. Some of these are okay to shoot at the indoor range, some are not. Usually bullets that are jacketed have more of a matte finish in either copper or sometimes gold. So you can see right away that we can eliminate 3 of these candidates from being eligible. Pictured from the left are 2 lead bullets, followed by 2 jacketed hollow points, a coated lead bullet made by Blue Bullets. Next is a polymer coated bullet made by Gallant, and then the 2 on the right are common round nose or ball ammo bullets, with the left one being jacketed and the right one being plated. Plated bullets usually have a high gloss finish. Oh hey, aren't you supposed to be watching the video? I know, it's really exciting stuff, but we're about halfway done, so hang in there. One of the major differences between a plated bullet and a jacketed one is that the jacketing that covers the lead is much thicker than plating. For our indoor range purposes, this causes more backsplatter around the range and damage to the steel backstop and rubber curtains. Can you tell which of these is plated and which is jacketed? I'll give you a hint. You can see my fingers giving the peace sign in the plated bullet. Another way to tell the difference between a plated and a jacketed bullet is to look at the base of a bullet. A jacketed bullet has exposed lead, and a plated bullet is fully covered. Something you can't tell by just looking is the velocity of the projectile. These two rounds look identical, but the 147 grain bullet is traveling much slower and is acceptable at the indoor range. It is usually rather difficult to find plated ammunition in local stores, but there are some online dealers that have very reasonably priced solutions. Make sure to check the specifications to ensure that it is legal at the indoor range. Here is an example of some synthetic centerfire ammo that we have seen locally. Although this bullet type is acceptable at the indoor range, this particular cartridge has a velocity of 1,140 feet per second. So finding a heavier bullet that is traveling under 1,000 feet per second is needed. Something that is somewhat common for reloaders to do is to take a Magnum case and download it to non-Magnum specifications. Most commonly will be a 357 case loaded to 38 Special and a 44 Magnum case loaded to 44 Special. This is usually done by experienced hand loaders that will have their velocities documented. That pretty well covers centerfire cartridges, even though I'm sure there may be other exceptions. So let's change gears now and talk about rimfire cartridges. There are a ton of choices when it comes to 22 rimfire cartridges, and most of them are just fine for the indoor range. Most commonly, we'll see 22 long rifle. Also allowed are 22 short and 22 long. There are many varying velocities above 1,000 feet per second in the long rifle cartridges, and these are okay. What is not okay are the Magnum loads. These are commonly sold as 22 Win Mag or 22 WMR, which stands for Winchester Magnum Rimfire. As you can see, these velocities are close to and even exceeding 2,000 feet per second for these Magnum cartridges. So as you can see, there are a lot of variables that can easily exempt certain cartridges from our indoor range, and this can also be confusing, especially to newer safety officers and newer shooters. If you have any questions about what can or cannot be shot at the indoor range, or anything else related to Southern Michigan Gun Club procedures and policies, please make sure to reach out to a board member. We're here to make sure that you're having fun and staying safe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you at the range.